Damn it. Damn blast and buggeration! Is it still night time? Come on, Dawn. If I can't sleep, then it may as well be daytime so I can get something useful done. It's alright for this one. Wrapped up nice and snug and warm. You could sound a blast of trumpets and it wouldn't wake him. See? He sleeps without a care in the world, and it's his fault that I can't. I can't concentrate on anything except those gnawing, biting worries, those blood-sucking parasites to who I owe all my money and more. Why do I owe so much money, I hear you ask? Well, look no further than Sleeping Beauty here. You see, he's obsessed, you know? Talk about your one-track mind, more like your 8-lane mind. Even dreams about it. Listen.
They're off straight out the gates with a limping dream off a strong start.
All that money on the horses, and what do I have to show for it? Nothing but a useless layabout of a son. Well, I'm up now. Better take a look at these numbers. What can I add to the pile? You put a tenner on the 3.15 at Platea. Well, that's gone.
That's a foul. Stay in your own lane.
And he lost a pony on each of the next 4 races. As if those damn ponies haven't given me enough trouble already.
Just 1 lap left, still all to play for.
And what's this? A monkey on the 4.36 at Megalopolis. A monkey? What business does a monkey have riding a horse down the floor, boy? No wonder it lost.
What time is it? Oh, for God's sake, Dad, go back to sleep. Or at least let me sleep in peace. There's a good chap.
Oh yeah, just you sleep on. I'll fight off the bailiffs when they come to take the bed from under you. I blame his mother, you know. No, it was my fault. I shouldn't have married above myself. She was so elegant, so classy, but there was no way I could keep her in the lifestyle to which she'd become accustomed. And our son has the same illness too. Never accept anything but the best, Pheidippides, she'd say, not knowing how it was going to be paid for. You're worth it all, Pheidippides. And doesn't he just know it? So he spends and spends and spends money he doesn't have, and more importantly, money I don't have. Damn it! Damn it! Damn it! Damn it! Not even a light to see my own crippling debts by now. No light bulb to give me a brilliant idea and see myself out of this mess. That's it. An idea. It's cleverness that'll get me out of this. I need the help of the smartest man in all of Athens. There's nothing Socrates can't argue his way out of. What is it they say? Oh, that he's the suppository of all knowledge. If I can send my son back to school, then everything will be okay. Pheidippides? 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 Pheidippides!
And everyone near that donkey! What? Where? Oh, you. What do you want?
My dear son, my darling boy.
Yes, that's me.
You love your father, don't you?
Oh yes, you're my everything.
Excellent, I am glad to hear it, because you're going to help me out for a change.
What do I have to do now?
Now, all of the... Never mind, you're going back to school, boy. You ever heard of Socrates' school, the thinkery? They teach you all sorts of really important things there, like where an oxbow leg comes from, or the future passive indicative second person plural of Porto, or how to find a hypotenuse without using a ruler. Things you'll use every day as an adult. Doesn't that sound interesting?
Oh my God, that sounds so boring. Now give me back those blankets.
But wait, there's more. You can learn the arguments. The strong argument and the weak argument. They say that if you know the strong argument, you can prove anything's true. But if you know the weak argument, then you can convince people that black is white, day is night, extended warranties are a sensible investment. And that you don't have to pay back your debts.
I'm going back to bed. I'm not going to some dumb, dull class, sitting inside, getting pale, while a fraud in a silly hat teaching me how to string a sentence together. Why don't you do it?
You ungrateful little... After everything Fine, maybe I will, and I bet you one of your stupid monkeys and I'll make a better student than you ever will. Give my regards to the bailiffs. Here we go. I've got my jacket freshly pressed, my shoes clean and polished, my tie is... I don't think it's a tie kind of school. Anyway, so what have I got in my school bag? Lunchbox? Check. Pens and pencils, pencil sharpener, protractor, pencil case, pocket calculator, compass, crayons, set square, ruler, rubber. Perfect. Funny Mummy were here to take a picture of me. I'm off to get school. Good day, fellow students. I say, hello. Shh, peace in peace. Hello. I don't mean to bother anyone, but I do really need to speak to somebody. Hello? Hello?
Now you've done it. All week I've been tending to that little calculation, nurturing it, feeding it, helping it come to life. And you've just killed it. Killed it! You, sir, are a murderer of ideas. You've just committed intellectual homicide.
Sorry? Did you lose count or something?
I was doing something rather more complicated than counting, thank you very much. I was trying to calculate them. I can't talk about it anyway. Discussion of our studies is strictly for the initiates of the thinkery only.
Ah, that's okay then. That's why I'm here. I've come to enroll at the thinkery.
You. Nikon, Leodes, get out here. You have to see this.
What is it, Vestor? Vestor, we told you before about picking up stinking old men off the street and using your stuff. You know they only end up stuffing the glassware down their trousers and running off with it.
He's nothing to do with me. Tell them, old man. Tell them what you told me.
I'm here to learn. I want to study from the greatest mind in all of Athens.
Oh, that's adorable. Look at his little school bag.
Hey, what's so funny about me wanting to learn? I have a brain between my ears, don't I? What makes you lot so special?
I, sir, am the finest entomologist in the city.
I bet he doesn't even know what one is. Bet he couldn't even say it back to us.
How dare you? Edmonton... Elton Johnalus?
An entomologist is the student of the insect world. I specialise in hematophagous parasites. That's bloodsuckers to you.
Ah, you're the person I need to talk to. You see, I owe some people some money.
I'm talking about fleas. I've been trying to calculate the scale of a flea's jump relative to its size. I'm trying to settle a bet with a colleague of mine for what would happen if you had a flea the size of a human.
Makings of the world's worst superhero?
Quiet. So, I needed to measure the size of the flea's feet in order to measure the distance of the flea's jump in flea feet. So I took the flea and dipped its little feet in wax. And when the wax dried, I took off its 6 little waxy slippers. I've been counting how many slippers on the flea's jump is.
So you were just counting.
Well, that's not all I do. Can you tell me why mosquitoes buzz?
It's the wings, isn't it?
No, you fool. Lots of animals have wings but don't make noise when they flap. Have you ever heard a seagull buzzing? Didn't think that, did you? What else makes a buzzing noise? Trumpets.
Vacuum cleaners.
Buzzers.
Right. And what do trumpets and vacuum cleaners have in common? Air passes in quickly one end and out the other. So, I have confidently deduced that the alimentary canal of a mosquito is sufficiently narrow that, as it flies, air passes in one end under pressure and vibrates as it comes out the other, producing a high-pitched buzz.
Genius. And it makes sense. That's how I buzz as well, when air passes quickly through one end and comes out the other. A mosquito has a little bum trumpet. Who'd have thought?
Quite.
So what do you do?
I am a botanist. Come, take a look at this. Take a look at this excellent specimen. Good strong base, healthy color, strong odor. Go on, give it a sniff.
Rather not if it's all the same to you.
Rather not, believe me. You wouldn't have smelled anything like this before. Its perfume is quite distinctive.
Do you even know what flower he's looking at?
From what I can see, I'd say it's a buttercup. What is Buttock looking up at anyway?
Oh, that ends doing a teach yourself astronomy course.
Ha! Astronomy, as though I'd waste my time with something as trivial as stargazing.
How dare you? Astronomy is the king of sciences. No scrambling about in the mud or sniffing gnat barks. Astronomy teaches you optics and geometry, astrophysics and quantum mechanics. And it has military applications too. Come over here. On a clear day, you can see the Spartan armies on that hillside, yes?
Don't remind me.
Well, take a look at them through this. Isn't that an amazingly useful tool?
Ah! How did they get here so quickly? Make them go away! Make them go away!
They're not. Oh, never mind. Here, I'll make them go even further away than they were before.
How did you... It's a miracle. Every man in Athens should be given one of these to keep the enemy at bay. You're a hero.
Well, I don't like to toot my own horn.
No, you're not a mosquito at the end of the day. Hey, what's that up there? High in the sky?
That? Why, that's the master. Look, he's coming down. Quick, inside everyone, and look busy. Good luck, chum. You're going to need it.
Venerable being has left us for today. Why have you come to this place?
Wow, how are you doing that? Can I have a go?
I traverse the air and contemplate this, and one does not just simply have a go.
Well, why are you doing that then? Can't you contemplate the sun from down here?
The mind is rare and ethereal by nature, and by mingling with the upper airs, it allows the mind to express its true thoughts. If I were to stand on the ground, I would perceive nothing. The earth is able to absorb the true liquidity of thought. Imagine a sponge.
Do sponges stop you thinking? Maybe that's why he never washes. Come down, Socrates. Come down. I need a teacher, soggy thoughts or not.
What have you come here to learn?
I need to find a way out of my debts. I've got whole armies of creditors coming to try and knock my door down. They're going to start repossessing my stuff soon.
How did you arrive at these state of affairs? Did you not notice your growing debts?
It's not me, it's my son. He's out of control. Please teach me your argument about how to avoid meeting your financial obligations. I promise I'll pay you whatever you ask. I swear by the gods.
The gods, you say? Your gods have no currency with us.
Oh, what currency do you accept then? Let me see what I've got. An old gym membership, never used. And, ooh, a loyalty card. One more stamp and you get a free t-shirt.
I'm talking about the gods I worship. Do you wish to know the truth about the divine nature of the universe? Will you swear to follow the ways of the thinkery and preserve its secrets?
If it'll help me learn what I need to learn, then I swear on my own life.
Then stand here and raise your hand. Push now. O air, Lord of all, who art beyond all measure. O shining Eva who illumines the world. O clouds, makers of thunder and lightning, arise and bless this man.
Please give me a brolly first.
Come hither, daughters of the ocean, from the mountain tops you breathe or from the misty valley floor. Receive our sacrifice and grace our rights. Holy clouds, you hear my call? Did you hear that great thundercloud?
Socrates, what's going on? What's that noise?
The clouds, of course, the only true divinities, mighty protectors of the indolent, bringers of intellect, dialectic, wit, hyperbole, circumlocution, and of rhetorical triumph. These are the goddesses to aid you in your trials.
I can't see them.
Here they come emerging from the mists, the goddesses in human form.
But they're just clouds. They're just made of water or and air.
But isn't that all you or I are? Anyway, clouds can take on the form of whatever they want. Have you never looked up and seen a cloud take the shape of a rabbit, or a wolf, or a flower?
I suppose.
And why can't the cloud be a goddess too? Have you ever seen a cloud floating above a politician in the shape of a weasel, Or above a journalist in the shape of a rat? Or above a hedge fund manager in the shape of an unprincipled, bottom-feeding worm?
I see them now. Glorious goddesses. Praise Zeus, what a miracle.
Have you not listened to a word I've said? There is no Zeus.
No Zeus? What do you mean, no Zeus? If there's no such thing as Zeus, then where does thunder come from?
The clouds.
Where does lightning come from?
The clouds.
Okay, I bet you haven't got a good answer for this one. If there's no such thing as Zeus, then where does rain come
The
from?
clouds, the clouds, it's all the clouds. How do you think it rains?
I thought it was Zeus pissing through a sieve.
One thing, have you ever heard thunder when there's no clouds around? Have you ever seen rain when there are no clouds around? As the clouds bloated with water roll around and bash into each other, you hear that rumbling as thunder.
Ah, I understand. When I'm feeling bloated.
Please stop there, 3 collections and strokes are enough for any play.
Okay, sorry sir. But what about lightning? Doesn't Zeus get his lightning bolts and strike down the wicked with them?
Zeus punished the wicked. Oh yes, that's why there are no lies and cheats in the world. They've all been struck by lightning. Don't be so naive.
Ladies, I'm sorry. All my life I've been confused and worshipping the wrong gods. You're the ones who can help me. Please, come to my aid. Help me on my trials.
Poor mortal from the world below. We'll teach you what you need to know.
If you really think that you can show sufficient discipline.
You don't know what you've got in store.
It's only fair that we make sure. So look this way so we know that you're actually listening.
No, don't worry about me. I'm made of stern stuff. I was in the army when I was a boy. I think I can handle sitting in a classroom.
The rigours of this regiment call for more than squatting and some tent.
So we really need informed consent, not a hopeless ineffectual.
Dedication is what you need, as well as concentration. Speed of wit, along with suit of tweed, to be an intellectual.
I feel the need for tweed.
Then after you, sir, if you please. And go and follow Socrates. We'll offer you no guarantees. We're no Delphic oracle.
If studies are your cup of tea and you wish to learn sharp repartee, if you listen you could be a genius rhetorical.
We suspect that you may be a little unsure of our qualifications of swaying a crowd. Hear our speech, watch us move, and just feel our allure. And know that we, with grand eloquence, are quite well endowed.
I'm Sir Vibrato, man of tails in the sky. I'm the highest of us all for all that's worth. I can lift your spirits up to Olympus on high and then leave them to fall, crashing back down to earth.
My name's Syracumula, up nearly as high. And I can tell you the cold up here gets a bit much. But I'll soon take the heat from your stinging reply, with the much sharper sting of my icicle touch.
I'm Sir Strata, translucent and hazy. You'll find vagueness as part of my charm. If I don't answer straight away, it's not that I'm lazy. It's part of a plot to confuse and disarm.
Altocumula me, stratocumula her.
She's quite threatening, but then I'm pretty threatening too.
Every adversary has no choice but to conquer.
When he sees us beginning to home into view.
Opaque, impassive, inscrutable, cool, unemotional, unruffled, unflappable, composed. Altostrata
And nimbostrata,
will leave you looking a fool.
with every rhetorical avenue closed.
And last but not least, you have cumulonimber. If you come against me, I will tear you asunder. I'll fell you like you were some poor rotten timber, with the force of my hailstorms, lightning, and thunder.
So who can deny the power of the clouds? Get on our good sides and feel our generosity. We'll give you the power to win over crowds, with urbane pomposity and potent verbosity.
Never, ever, ever, in all my years of teaching, have I ever taught, no, tried to teach, so inapt a pupil. Or should that be inept? It takes you hours to learn one thing, and by the time you've learned that, you've already forgotten something else. Right, come out here. Maybe the fresh air will do you some good. Right, sit there. Now, to speak well, you need to understand rhythm, structure, and musicality. What do you know about meters and feet?
A meter? Isn't that about 3 feet?
No, not those type of meters. Poetic meters. So each foot is made up of a number of beats. Dactylic hexameters go tum-titty-tum-titty-tum-titty, and so on. Iambic pentameters go ti-tum-ti-tum-ti-tum-ti-tum, and amphimbrachic trimeters go ti-tum-titty-tum-titty-tum-titty.
I know that one. A girl on a trip to Mycenae once ordered herself a martini.
Yes, I suppose. But I think we'd better leave that one there for decency's sake. So let's call them measures, not meters, to avoid confusion. Do you know any other types of measures?
Well, you've got double measures and single measures.
Yes. And how many do you get to each bar?
As many as you can before you get kicked out.
That's it. You are officially unteachable.
Well, you know, they say there's no such thing as a bad student, just a bad teacher.
I guarantee you that is not the case.
Come on, Socrates. I am trying, I promise.
Fine. Let's try some other types of rhetorical tricks. What do you know about irony?
I totally know what that is.
Fantastic. Can you give me an example of something being ironic?
Rain on your wedding day?
No?
Free ride when you've already paid?
No?
Good advice you just didn't take?
No. Those are all famously terrible examples of irony.
Well, isn't that ironic?
Let's think about something simpler. Nothing too conceptual. Let's think about sounds of words. What do you know about alliteration?
No, nothing, nil, not a thing. I am a ninny, a nincompoop, a numpty and a nitwit. This is impossible.
Repetition then? Repeating the same words over and over and over again. You can cope with that, can't you? Or let's try an afro, where you start each clause with the same phrase. We shall fight on the beaches. We shall fight on the landing grounds. We shall fight in the fields and in the streets. We shall never surrender.
Okay, let me give it a try. I've got great big waterproof boots on. I've got a great big waterproof hat. I've got a great big waterproof Macintosh. And that, I say, is that.
Not bad, okay. Let's try epistrophe. It's the same as a naphra, but instead of starting each clause with the same phrase, you finish each clause with the same phrase, like this. Owly joys be still upon you. Juno sings her blessings on you. Scarcity and want shall shun you. Ceres' blessing so is on you.
I've got great big waterproof boots on. I've got great big waterproof boots on.
You cannot just repeat the whole thing again. That's it, I give up. You are utterly unteachable. You thick-headed, cloth-eared, dusty-minded buffoon. You dunderhead, you dunce, you dope. I have furniture that makes for a better student than you. There are livestock in the fields that could learn as easy than you. There are children who have not yet mastered the power of speech who can learn as faster than you. Go get out, be gone. And never darken my doors again.
What am I going to do?
Strepsiades, please don't despair. Just sit and work this problem through.
We may not answer every prayer, but answer us this question. Who?
Who? What do you mean, who? I've been answering questions all day. My brain's turned to mush. Too old for this.
Then listen to your own concept.
Ages what is stopping you. Who is it to whom you can turn? I'll ask you one more time now. Who?
No one. I have nobody. My address book is full of moneylenders and loan sharks. Me and that boy will be out on our ear and no one will help us then either.
Good Lord, you can't be this obtuse.
If friends are really oh so few, it can't be that hard to deduce the answer to the question. Who?
Well, not my creditors, obviously. So, who?
Pheidippides.
Pheidippides! I was getting there. He's young. His mind's still sharp. He's going to school whether he likes it or not.
Help! He's gone mad.
Mad? I was mad when I let you run rings around me. I was mad when you spent me out of house and home. I was mad when I indulged to your every whim. You are big enough and ugly enough to take care of yourself now, and that involves going to school to learn to sort out your debts. It's time you took some responsibility.
Help! This is child abuse. I've got rights.
Rights? The right to sit around on the sofa all day eating crisps. You, boy, have the right to an education, and I'm going to make sure you get it.
Zeus saved me.
Oh, you see, this is why you need to go to school. There's no such thing as Zeus.
No, Zeus. What are you on about?
Didn't you know? Zeus is made up. The only true gods are the clouds. Look around. Tell me they aren't divine.
Well, if there's no such thing as Zeus, then where does thunder come from?
Oh, you poor naive little boy. You see, it all has to do with liquid. The clouds drink too much and all run around in circles, crashing into each other. The sound we hear is what ignorant mortals call thunder.
But what about lightning?
Quiet. Oh. Lightning. Strike down all the wicked with lightning. Clearly there's no such thing.
What? But I've...
Don't ask questions. That's not how you learn. You just sit and listen to what you're being told. Don't see Socrates going around asking questions, do you?
But...
Don't. He's coming now. Sit up straight. Best behaviour.
You again? I distinctly remember telling you not to come back.
Oh, but I'm not back to study. See, I made a terrible pupil, but I know why. I'm too old. This old dog can't learn any new tricks. That's why I've brought this young pup here. This is my son. Say hello, you fool.
Hello, you fool.
Very witty. Wit is not the same as wisdom, young man. Don't try and be smart with me.
But Socrates, we don't need him to be wise, just clever, tricksy and persuasive.
Well, if that's the case, I won't teach him.
Thank God.
You can learn from the arguments themselves. Strong, weak, I have a meal for you to fight over. Come on, Strepsiades. He's in capable hands now.
Typical of you skulking in the background. Show yourself proudly for once.
Happily, then I can demolish you in front of an audience.
You demolish me, and who do you think you are?
An argument.
Yes, the weaker one.
That doesn't mean I can't come out on top.
By some underhand trick, no doubt.
I've got an idea or two up my sleeve.
Useless. I'll win by simple virtue of being right and just.
Ha! Justice, you old fogey.
What's so funny about justice?
Nothing except that it doesn't exist.
How can you say that?
Simply a social construction created by man to enforce the established status quo.
You disgust me.
And you're out of touch.
You arrogant turd.
Better than being an antique.
You're nothing but a defiler corrupting the youth of Athens. A debauch, a despoiler.
Music to my ears.
You're a parasite. You debase the city even as you feed on it. I will not let you have this boy.
Try and stop me.
Stop this pointless, futile spat. You've got a captive audience sat right here for you to educate.
Take turns, future's best teacher. Come along now. You speak first, please, Mr. Strong. Thank you, ladies. Now, my learned audience, I do not doubt that any one of you disagree that things were all much better in the good old days. There's a reason the good old days is a phrase, whilst the good old now is most decidedly not. Back in my day, boys, and it was always boys who know none of this mixing nonsense, were taught to be honourable, polite, decent chaps. They studied hard so they could recite the great tracts of noble poets off by heart, and learned the lessons passed down to us by these great men of letters from finer days. Neither a borrower nor a lender be, young man. The loan of loses both itself and friend, and borrowing dulls the edge of husbandry. Lesson I gather you could stand to learn well. None of this modern poetry, the rules don't matter either. Poetry that doesn't rhyme, that way lies anarchy. Boys would study in silence. They would speak only when spoken to, and discipline was firm. Any deviation from the rules, it was bend over and here's 10 of the best. That's how I was raised and never did me any harm. Any beastly or indecent thoughts, it was a cold shower and a 5-mile run. So choose me, boy, choose the stronger heart. If you take me as a teacher, you'll always be counted sound. You'll have a broad chest and firm thighs, not flabby weak arms and a sagging behind. You'll walk with nobility and pride, and command respect from those that matter.
Weren't those who lived in your day blessed to grow up with the very best of values?
Colour us impressed. He certainly values a fine physique.
Now it's your opponent's turn to speak. Come and wow us, Mr. Week.
Finally! I've been bursting to cut in and dismantle your argument point by vacuous point. Let's go back to the old days, shall we, and see what people were saying then? Fusty old fuddy-duddies like you have been bemoaning progress since time immemorial. I hear this new postal service malarkey is going to lead to faithless wives exchanging torrid letters with their lovers. The written word, you say? Why, what was wrong with memorizing the whole sum of human knowledge by heart? Ooh, look at that uppity fellow over there with a flint arrowhead. Is he too good for creeping up behind the mammoth and braining it with a rock? If the world had been on the steep decline everyone always claims, we would have hit a catastrophe years ago. And what about these poets of yours? Why should children be memorizing great swathes of text?
Because therein can be found great wisdom and virtue.
Oh yes, such great virtues. Perhaps you're thinking of the story where Zeus, noble king of the gods, gets the hots with some mortal piece of skirt and transforms into her husband to trick her. Or when Apollo and Artemis slaughter 14 innocent children to punish their boastful mother. Or when Poseidon curses Persephone with insatiable lust for a bull of all things, for a crime her husband committed. When this is the wisdom you're offering, I think that children are better off being taught nothing at all and being left to figure it out for themselves.
But they're children. If they get the wrong answers...
Different.
What?
Different answers. If they arrive at different answers, different values from yours, then where does that leave you? This is why you inculcate, indoctrinate, inseminate. Let them think. If you are confident enough that your ideas stand up to scrutiny, hold them up to scrutiny. If not, then they are not ideas worth having.
Very modern, very trendy. But some ideas are long-lasting because they've proved themselves to be absolute.
Oh, moral absolutes. Thou shalt not kill, apart from when you need to. Thou shalt not steal, unless you can get away with it. Honour your father and your mother, unless they do not deserve it. Everyone has principles, and nobody adheres to them. So, why bother having principles at all, I say?
Now you're going too far.
Tell me, what do you think of modern politicians? Do they stick to their principles?
Of course not. They're all a bunch of hypocrites, obviously.
What about writers and artists?
A bunch of hypocrites.
Intellectuals?
Hypocrites.
Now look out here. What do you see? do you? You teach the young that people think they're important. At the most, you'll teach them to pay lip service to them. But they see no good in they see too many thriving hypocrites to know that there's any good in being virtuous. Living as a just man in an unjust society, it's so limiting.
Right, I'm beaten. More than that, I'm defecting. Teach me too.
Come on, boy! It's time to learn the truth about the world. It's time to become a man.
Is it that a strong foundation of a decent education starts when everyone casts out the values that we once held dear? Must we set out to demolish, overturn, tear down, abolish every maxim, every axiom you've ever hoped to hear?
I suppose we must adhere to all the precepts that appear to have been passed down through centuries, regardless of their merit. But can't we facilitate youth in, finding value, finding truth in, mindsets they themselves can come up with, not unthinkingly inherit?
Thinking skills are well and good, but you can't declare that they should be at the expense of knowledge of the world in which we live. Call it culture or tradition, it's not a pointless mission to teach them of a canon that will none of us out there.
That dichotomy is false, sir, an argumentative waltz, sir, designed to leave us spinning on the intellectual ring. First comes thinking, then comes learning, then a thirst for knowledge, yearning. You can lead a horse to water, but you cannot make it think.
And what of moral values? What of honour, justice? Shall you really try to argue that it's meaningless to use terms like wrong and right? When you become a zealot of the idea that it's all relative, what can you make of the horrors you see on the news each night?
Seems you're desperate to prolong your humiliation in this song. Think we don't know right from wrong? We certainly have views. Don't be led by stick or carrot and be simply taught to parrot every slogan, every soundbite that you hear on the nightly news.
Socrates had an idea, and he made it pretty clear when he called himself not sage, but sagacity to make life.
Teachers have an obligation to assist in the gestation of the urge to get to thinking, not just sitting there unblinking.
Every time you see spoon feeding, you'll see someone not succeeding. When you tell someone what to think, you fail to educate for life.
He's here, Mr. Gooey. I'm telling you. I saw him dragging that son of his in here 5 days ago. They've not been out since.
What on earth would they be doing hanging around this drudge with a bunch of pompous intellectuals? Hardly Strepside he's seen, or his sons for that matter.
Well, I don't know, do I? But it's the last day of the old moon and the first day of the new, so it's time for us to collect on our debts. Those were the terms of the loan. We have a signature here. He can't weasel his way out of it this time.
Oi, Strepsides! Come on out! We want to have a few words with you.
Why, Carmodies, Miss Agirides, how good to see you. How are you both doing? Prosperously, I hope.
Not prosperously enough, you old crook, and you know full well why.
Why, Carmodies, I have no idea to what you could be referring.
Shut it, chump, and pay up. It's the old new today, and that means deadline. One way or another.
Deadline? For the money you owe us. 500 drachma by the end of today, or we'll take our payments some other way.
Gentlemen, it seems we've had a misunderstanding. I know. Why don't I get my financial advisor? I'm sure he can straighten this unfortunate matter out. Phidippides?
Yes, Father, what can I do for you?
It seems that these honourable gentlemen are under the misapprehension that I owe them a substantial amount of money. Can that be right?
Let me take a look at that contract. Much obliged.
I think you'll find that
Here, the undersigned, henceforth referred to, undertakes to ensure regular repayments should the borrower fail, collateral, payment of the minimum interest due on the day of the old and new. Oh dear.
What do you mean, oh dear? You just said he should make payment of at least the interest today. And that's why we're here.
Today, you say?
Yes, today, the old and new.
Is that what today is?
You know damn well it is.
I'm sorry, sis. I'm only a financial advisor, unknowledgeable in matters of calendars and astronomy. The old and new, you say?
Yes, the old and new. The day the old month becomes a new one.
Well, yes, but you see, that's where the problem lies. See this man next to me. Is he old?
Yes.
He's not young, fresh, or new.
No, of course he isn't.
Quite right, sis. And might it also be possible for him to be fat?
Yes, of course you can be old and fat.
Yes, yes. Perhaps old and stupid.
Certainly not.
Yes. But you must recognise the source of my confusion. I see how it is possible for someone to possess two separate attributes, say old and fat or old and stupid, but not two contradictory ones.
What the hell are you talking about?
Well, if he is old, then he cannot also be new. How can this day be both old and new? If you wish my client to repay his debt on the day of the old moon, or on the day of the new moon, you should have said so. But this contract specifically states that the repayment is due on the day of the old and new, a day which logically cannot exist. Due to the terms of the very contract you've drafted, my client is sadly unable to repay the sum borrowed. To repay the sum would prove a breach of the letter of said contract.
Why, you slippery little, you scheming piece of...
Everyone knows what the old and new is. It's the first day of each month.
Colloquial usage is no substitute for lexical precision. I'm afraid, sirs, that you have to find your recompense elsewhere. Good day.
But
I said good day, sirs.
Oh, my son, you were marvellous. That was masterful. We can live out our lives in luxury. We'll never have to pay back a penny of what we borrowed, and what's better, we can keep on borrowing. You can draw up the contracts and prove them all void when they come back begging.
What did you say to Carmody and Miss Skirides? They're fuming.
They had a lesson in ontology and the impossibility of coincidence of opposites.
What the hell does that mean? Well, they're planning to hold you in front of a jury, and if you don't pay me the money you owe me, so will I.
Juries. I have the best advocate in all of Athens.
Look, Strepsides, we're all friends here. If you gave me an undertaking, you would repay me that money.
An undertaking? Your case, Stephen, we can those other found an undertaking. Do you have any evidence of this? A signature, perhaps? Or even a witness? They came with a signature, fully notarized and witnessed, and I still sent them packing. What have you got? A verbal contract? Not worth the paper it's written on.
You were there, Pheidippides. You saw and promised. You're a witness.
I have no memory of those events at this present time.
How convenient. Your fancy education is obviously adding to your brain if you're suddenly so forgetful. Is this what you've learned? How to be clever? It's a shame you haven't learned anything useful. We had a gentleman's agreement. I'm starting to see you're no gentleman. Where is your sense of honour?
And what do I get from being honourable? And from giving from which I do not have to give? How is that in my interest?
It's not just. It's not right.
Please, you and your justice. Justice is a simple construction created by man to enforce the established status quo.
No. Justice is each man receiving his fair due. Justice forms the ties that bind society together. Justice is the oil that keeps society running.
Pick a metaphor and stick with it like us.
You want to know you'll get out treating people honourably and fairly? People treat you fairly in return. No one will work with you in Athens knowing what you're like. I'm not a thug or a loan shark. I'm not here to break your legs. I'm here to complete a business transaction that ought to have benefited us both. If you choose to fritter away your borrowings on horses, that's your decision. But I will have what I am owed.
How, pray tell, will that happen?
Through the courts. The law is there in the interest of fairness.
Well, you get no interest out of me.
Witty. But wit is not the same as wisdom, young man. I'll see you in court.
My boy, my darling son, you've done it. We're free.
Now, about my fee.
Fee?
I'm far from free, Father. My skills command a certain value. Is it not right that I should earn a proportion of the savings that I've just won for you?
But they were your debts.
You might say that, but I think you'll find that as a minor, I'm unable to take the burden of the debt. And also, I believe all the suits are in your name. The name on the contract.
You said the contract was bunk.
You're the one they're taking to court.
I'm your father,
And?
so you should show me some respect.
Why? Because you're so respectable. You who cannot keep control of your own offspring, and were so irresponsible to manage to wrap up so much debt. Why should the offering of respect be simply based on the accident of birth? I am the better speaker, the better advocate, and you know what? I'm stronger too.
You'd beat your father. Why?
Because I can, and that is right enough. When I was little, you beat me. How is this any different?
I was teaching you.
And now I'm teaching you.
What have I done? Clouds, what have you led me to? I've created a monster.
It's not our place to intercede, however much he makes you bleed. This came about from your own greed. We did try to warn you. It bothers us not if you're happy, or if your happy ending's crappy. He doesn't care you changed his nappy. It's his turn to scorn you.
This is Socrates' fault. I'll get my revenge on him before it's too late.
Strepsiades, you still won't learn. Consequences come in return.
Socrates' house will burn. Now look, you can rhyme. Vidipides, you little runt. Quiet, listen, let me be blunt. I'm tired now of your little stunt. It's way past your bedtime.
Ow, 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 ow,
All my notes! Gone! Ruined! A lifetime's work!
Forget about your damn books. What about my scientific instruments?
Both of you, shut and run. Think about our lives.
Oh, it's alright for you!
Don't you start. If I had half a mind.
We could put it out, you know.
I suppose we could, although it's quite a way to make today.
You won't go and eat it.
What point was there to our endeavour, if there was any whatsoever?
It's not enough to just be clever. Some principles are needed.
So let me take you this advice. Listen carefully, you won't hear it twice. Wit and cleverness won't suffice. Think a little deeper.
Need a motto to guide you on your way, to pause and reflect on every day.
Listen well to what we say, this one's for you.
The lesson that gives and just keeps on giving.
The unexamined life is not worth living.